to babysit Facebook. Look how funny he is. I have to make sure it's really on Facebook. My editor hates it when I do this, but you have to babysit two things in life, T-Mobile and Facebook. Everything else is good to go.
And speaking of which, T-Mobile started having issues today for some reason. Why, I don't know.
Oh, well, hey, you guys out there on Jeff Bosy's page and my page on Facebook, Holy Toledo, tonight you have a 2-year veteran of comedy. That's right. I called him a veteran. He stuck it out. You didn't quit him in 2 years, right?
No, the only thing I've quit was my sanity. That was about it.
That does it. He's a veteran, you guys. We're on here vetting the veterans of comedy. And Jeff Bosy, man, I'm so glad you're here.
I will get so much flack for the veteran comment with some of the other people who've been in the business for 15, 20 plus years. They're going to sit there and go, really, Bosy, veteran, huh?
I've been doing it 6 years, and I still get flack for calling myself a comic.
Yeah, you get that because you like I said, you get people that have been in the business, since I don't know, since they started streaming TV, and they sit there and go, "Who are you?" You know what? One person said it to me, and I sort of agree with how they said it. However many years you're in comedy is how old you are. So I would be considered a 2-year-old. So I'm going through my terrible twos.
Oh my gosh, I'm going into first grade.
There you go. And listen, you've already learned how to give the middle finger by now.
Yes. Yes, I'm ambidextrous, you guys. Look. Oh my gosh. Did I really do that? I was just telling Jeff that my new Coke bottle glasses make me look like I'm a Jewish cat lady. I'm not a cat lady. What's going on in Long Island, New York, Jeff?
Let's see here. Finally, the only thing that's positive that I can say, finally, there used to be a strong open mic presence where a lot of people would go to open mics here on Long Island. And that area where we used to all get together, hang out, and, shoot the breeze, came to a standstill as of March 15th. That was the last time that anybody was doing anything. And I was very happy to find out finally that this Wednesday, we're finally getting a first open mic reopened. So we can all go back and hold a mic again and, give each other the classic words of support of, yeah, tell that one again. But that's the positive thing. Like I said, it's just been stressful for a lot of people, the comics, people in general. And, we just, we're pushing through. We're trying to gather what sanity we have left and, cross our fingers that things open up faster than what's going on.
I think it's really encouraging that they're including comedian. First of all, they don't say that comedy is essential, but they do say that the comedians are going to have a new normal, like we ever were normal.
Yes, it will definitely. Listen, it's definitely a hurdle for new people, for new comics, however green they are. It's definitely a hurdle. And I'm still in belief that it'll be a hurdle for even the seasoned comics that go out there. And they're going to have to deal with a totally different mindset from the audience.
Yeah.
So it's we're going to have to all, bring our A game and try our best to get them laughing again, because that's what we do. We're out there to entertain and put a smile on people's faces.
This might be a good time to bring out the dick jokes.
Yeah, I guess, but
Kidding.
Okay. Well, listen, it's okay. There's several people who use, and this is where I mentioned I've said it several times. I had a great people to lean on for advice.
Yes, I saw that.
Yes, and I owe a huge thank you to Mr. Rich Walker
I
and
love him.
Mr. Peter Bales. They teach a comedy class also in Long Island. Great guys, awesome people. But they did the one thing, words of wisdom that they did teach me. If you want to go ahead and cross the field and cut straight across, lean on your shit, fart, and dick jokes.
Totally.
And if you want to go ahead and you want to make somebody remember who you are, clever comedy and clean, because clean you can work everywhere.
I love that. You got some good teachers out there. Did you get them through Governor's Club?
Yes, they held classes over at the brokerage. They have their thing that they have. It's called Stand Up University, and they also have a third teacher, Steve Lazarus, very nice guy as well. But the three of them together, awesome guys. But I mean the personalities that come out of that class, and because of them and their ways of teaching, is just really amazing. They're really awesome people.
That's so cool. And you mentioned something in the introduction information you sent me about Rich Rada and you. Talk to me about what he's done for your life.
He's made it a living hell. Me and Rich Rada, we're really good friends. We actually met in the beginning of our I guess comedy career. We wind up doing a show together, and we got to talking, and we haven't stopped talking since.
That's so cool.
And it was it was to the point of where we were throwing back and forth. I was like, everyone does a podcast these days. I mean, why not jump on the bandwagon? So me and him, we have a show that we do on Gov's Radio called No Rhyme, No Reason. And we do it every Tuesday from 6:30 to 7:30. And
what's the premise of
that? Let's see here. It's in the title. No rhyme, no reason. Why we should be on or what we talk about. But the whole thing, we do discuss, current topics, things that go on within the Long Island community. Just try to go ahead and find, it was another outlet of trying to get the funny out there somehow.
Nice.
Like I said, we just wind up creating some sort of odd bromance, I guess. And I mean, like I said, we get along. He busts my horns, I bust his horns, and him more so than me because he's a little bit. He just a tad. I'm gonna give him that much more clever on the material that he comes out with when he goes ahead and he knocks me. So
that's a good idea. Good thinking.
He's a great guy, great friend, awesome person. Everybody loves him because he knows me.
Along your way in all these 2 years of comedy, before you got into comedy, I like to ask this of celebrity comics like yourself. In all these years of comedy, what are some shit jobs you took to get this far?
Well, there was those two midgets I had to blow in the corner. Joking. As far as, like I said, I mean, I've done the bar shows, I mean, everyone has to do, you have to go through the grind of it all. You have to sharpen your teeth, wet your claws, get out there. You got to do, places that, they don't even know that you're doing comedy. It's like you're sitting there, it's like there's a band, and here you have Jeff Bosy. And it's like, yeah, screw him. And they all start talking amongst themselves. And you know what? The thing is, you go out there, you do your set. If you have one person that laughs, fine. And that's usually yourself because you don't even understand why you're there. So, but I've done, like I said, I've done a decent amount of places. Listen, I always love doing the clubs because that's where people are expected to get a laugh sometimes, and they paid money, so they're going to sit there and force themselves to laugh.
So, what advice do you have for comics that are maybe only in the business a year or less?
Run. No. Listen, if you really enjoy doing stand-up comedy or becoming a comedian, if it's really your passion and you really have the spirit to do it, just keep going, keep fighting, keep going out there. Always listen, always be writing, always write, because you want to know what, you might have a thought in your head, it comes out, write it down, speak it into the phone, always jot it down, because you want to know what, you're going to forget it. You're definitely going to forget what you just thought of, and it could be possibly funny. There's several times where I see new comics, I'll have conversations with them, and I was like, do you not realize what you just said? That was funny. Or you can make a joke out of it. And they don't hear it because you're having an A-B conversation and you're just thinking nothing of it. But like I said, just stick with it. Keep going. If you want to be with it, you want to do this as far as whatever, it's a full-time, making a career, making yourself big and famous, whatever it is, just keep going. Don't stop, no matter what anybody tells you. You know,
Yes.
I mean, like my wife, you know, she says I'm not funny, but you know what? No wife, no significant other thinks that their spouse or boyfriend is funny ever.
Yeah.
Well, at least that's what they tell me.
Well, you know what really matters is that all the girls that come to the club that are scantily dressed think you're funny, you know, at the end of the day.
Sure. Funny looking, not, but listen, the one other thing I've learned was the comic never gets the girls. Never. There's no long line of when I'm doing my my greets out the door at the end of the show and I'm telling everybody like, oh yeah, thanks for coming. You know, thanks for, you enjoy the show. Thanks for coming. I usually get the like, hey, or the don't touch me. Don't. So you know, I mean, it's like I said, it's the feeling of when you get that one person after a show and they tell you you're really good. It's such a euphoric moment.
Yes.
That you know, they say, oh wow, and then they have the memory of what your joke was, whatever it was, and they repeat it like, oh, that one thing that you did about garage sales. Oh, that was funny. And I sit there and you take, you know, you go ahead and you bolster on up and sit there and like, well, yes, it was funny. And I'm glad you enjoyed it. You feel like you're going to sell them something. And if you come back next week for only 3 easy payments of $9.99.
What's your favorite joke that you've told and it doesn't get good enough laughs, but you're still trying to make it funny and you refuse to give it up?
Yeah, my entire set. No. There's it's like I said, there's a few that I don't know. It's because it's a 50-50. Sometimes it lands, sometimes it doesn't. Because once again, I ride the safe line, and I haven't let go of that to venture to see how more risky or take it a step further and push the boundaries. I haven't done that yet. So I guess I haven't had the chance to get the, you know, trying out this one joke about, you know, 15 to 20 times. And every time it's the same result of like, right. So, but the majority of the times, you know, I'll tell, let's say a certain amount of, I've done 2 shows back to back. Okay. And I found weird, I purposely did the same set. And then a lot of people are going to sit there and go, yeah, that's because you only have one set. I've done the same material twice, and the laughs came in on different parts of it. They laughed. The first crowd laughed at certain parts of the sets, and then the next show they laughed at certain other things. And and sometimes they just laugh at shit, and I have no clue. I didn't even get to the punchline, and I'm like, I'll shut up. I'm gonna let them laugh. I don't know what they're laughing at, but I'm gonna let them laugh.
Oh, you have really good comedic timing. You've got me so giddy.
Good. Well, at least one portion of what I do is working.
So what's the goofiest thing you've ever seen at a comedy show?
Oh, the goofiest thing was like I said, I went to go be. I'm very supportive of other comics. That's the other thing. I'm very supportive. So a couple of friends of mine, they were doing a show once again at a bar, and it was to the point of where there was like, where they held the mic through their act, they were like 6 feet or 7 feet away from the bar. So it was that close. And the one person who went up, and I'll never forget this because it's completely hysterical, they got heckled by a mute.
By a what?
By a mute. Yeah, exactly, by a mute. The person, like, like that. And they were writing stuff on a piece of paper and then bringing it up to the comic to read. And I'm sitting there, I was like, I can't believe it. You got heckled by a mute. How does that happen?
Did you make this up?
You can't listen. I'm not even a scout, but I'm going to raise the right hand like I'm holding it on that, on the whatever. I don't have a Bible here, but still, no, this actually happened. These are the things, like I said, that you see. As far as the wackiest thing, that's pretty much the one that stands out.
Oh my gosh, you got me laughing so hard. So you made it through the pandemic in the East Coast, New York, Long Island. Have you
So far?
I know you're touched, but have you been personally touched by COVID-19?
Personally touched by COVID-19. I didn't know this was an individual that was walking around the neighborhood. And if the person was such doing so, I would have worn more protection because I don't want those kind of diseases.
Oh God.
Like as far as like being affected, like I said, it affected me in a way as far as where there was other friends that are comedians that were that they did catch the corona, COVID-19, whatever you want to call it these days. They did catch it, and some of them were like pretty bad, and I felt bad for them, and I tried to do the best that I could with helping them out with whatever they needed. And, but luckily, myself and my family members, I'm like, and look, and this is a picture of some people that I met last week. They've been okay. I come home every evening because I still have a daytime job where I'm exposed to everything. So my ritual when I come home is to do a striptease for myself only, and then spray everything down with Lysol because apparently it kills 99.9%, but the COVID-19 is not part of that 99.9%. So I don't know what the hell I'm spraying, but I'm spraying it anyways because these are the rules that are set by when I come home.
Everybody's using that antibacterial stuff on their hands,
Oh, yes. I call that lotion. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Yes, using the Purell and everything and wiping the hands because, you're not going to touch anything else within the next 30 seconds.
It's highly flammable and it causes muscle damage. So my question is, when this comes back in the fall, are people going to be able to masturbate? That's all I want to know.
Well, listen, I've made sure that my forearms are the largest known in the United States, so I will have no problem getting back to basics because I'm married.
You plan on doing any pandemic jokes when you get back?
Absolutely not. I don't want, listen, I am going to fling a French fry or whatever is closest to me at a person who does toilet paper jokes, COVID-19 jokes, anything related to that. Like I said, on my page, I've gone ahead, I've done a couple of short videos, okay?
I saw one.
And I'm sorry. So I've done a couple of things and it touches on the subject, but it was for entertainment. But I'm not bringing that crap to the stage because for two reasons. One, it's cheap material. It's not timeless. You're going to use it for maybe what, 6 months, maybe a year, and then what are you going to do like 10 years from now? Oh, by the way, the toilet paper and the COVID. No, I'm not doing it. It's ridiculous. It'll be a cheap way of getting to a laugh. But then again, once again, that's reason number one. Reason number two is people are trying to get back into some normalcy. They don't want to think about it because you guys sit there, they're coming into a club or wherever they're coming to see comedy, and they're coming in there, forget about it. Not hear it again. They don't want to hear it. They're done listening. Like on our end, we're done listening to de Blasio and Cuomo and COVID-19 and a ribbon cutting for his bridge and all of that other stuff. We don't want to hear it. We're done. We're finished. We're completely done hearing about it. I'm going to have to tell my grandkids, yeah, let me tell you about the great toilet paper shortage of 2020. No, not happening.
Do you do impressions?
I've tried. A lot of people say I should do it, and I sit there and I go, no, because I never have confidence in any of the impressions that I do, whether it's.
The reason I asked is because when you were going through that whole litany of the Declaration of Independence you just did, I could see you doing that as Gilbert Gottfried.
What do you mean? I don't know what you're talking about. I'm over here.
Have you ever done him?
Well, there was one time I saw him, but I didn't have any condoms. I'm happy I'm making you happy.
I am not on drugs. It is all you.
Oh, well, that's what my wife said. And then we had our son.
Oh, shit. I'm trying to be professional.
Listen, I'm so glad that I'm the first comic to make you laugh this hard.
You are. Shang got really close the other night. Shang Forbes.
Okay.
I threw out some premises and he ran with them and turned them into a sitcoms he's going to do. And he had me laughing. But this tops that.
All right. Well, like I said, it's always the one thing is as far as being, like I said, for comedy for me, I've always wanted to do it. I never gone ahead and taken the time to do it because life got in the way. Somehow, some way, life got in the way. So I never took that step to get into it. But as far as for where I'm talking with someone, like I said, talking with someone A and B, you can always make them laugh at some point throughout the conversation. It's going ahead and getting in front of a group of people where it has to count for everyone in a mass. So that's where it's different. But when I'm having an A and B conversation, my mind is, I'm thinking of I'm just thinking of things. So like when you say one thing, I'll go ahead and I'll move it to something else. Like, it was easy open season when you said, have you ever done Gilbert? It's going to go there, obviously. So I've never done him. I never done his impersonation on stage. I've done it for any of the Gov's radio stations that they have a few shows that are on there. And so I've gone ahead and I blurted out things, or I've changed my voice in some manner to, it just, I'll improvise and I'll just throw it in there real quick. I'll just drop it in here and just place it, and then I'm done. I'm finished. I move on to something else. So I can't stand, seriously. And then I can't, like I said, I'll talk to you and we'll have this interview. I'll post this. I will not rewatch it because I can't. You listen. You sit there and say like you can't with the glass, and you don't like looking at yourself. Okay, fine. I don't like hearing my own voice. Okay, it sounds like Joe Pesci is getting a rectal exam when the sound of my voice. That's what it sounds like for me. You know. What do you mean I'm funny? Funny how? Yeah, no, it's not good.
Oh shit. I said shit twice and I did a double. Oh my gosh. So tell me about your podcast and then also tell me about the fundraiser coming up at Governor's on July whatever.
Yes, that July whatever would be a great day because you want to know what? I'm going to look it up myself. I just know that
I think it's the 27th.
if it is, then it is. I will believe you.
Yep, it's the 27th.
Listen, well, whatever date you give, everyone will be there. If we're there, we're there. If we're not, then you know what? Free parking for everybody. Dubs Radio is something that got birthed by there was two people who was running the quote unquote podcast station in the back of Governor's Comedy Club. It was Mike O'Toole from The Wart Show and then Anthony Grazade from Limo Talk. And those were the only two there. And then all of a sudden it grew. You had Knock 'em Dead Comedy. You had, all these shows that came and grew and grew. And then, then I think the last on the horseshoe rack was me and Rich with No Rhyme, No Reason. So what we're doing is we're having a Food for the Hungry, and it's going to be, I believe it's on a Saturday, the 27th. I can't remember. I sent you the dates. I'm not good with dates. I'm so horrible with dates. Hence the reason why I got married, so I don't have to go on another one again. So it's and what we're doing is we're going to have about 3 or 4 or so of the shows that go on at Govs. And we're going to be doing a live stream outside. I believe it's either going to be in the front or on the side of Governor's Comedy Club. It's a huge, gigantic parking lot. You can fit a whole fleet of the movie Convoy in there. For all my redneck white trash friends, Convoy was a movie back over in the 70s that starred Chris Christopherson, which he was a sexy devil back then. I know you would agree. So who doesn't like Chris Christopherson? Oh my God, and that goatee and the beard. So we're going to go ahead and hold that fundraiser, and Anthony Limo Talk, Anthony Grazade is in charge of that, and we're just trying to do it for the community. We're trying to do for other comedians. We're just trying to do for everybody. That's all we've been doing over here in Long Island. We're just trying to help one another and try to get through this, and eventually life will go back to normal, and we can go back to giving each other the subliminal.
I heard a rumor that Long Island is really long.
Well, it is quite long, and unfortunately, I'm Irish, so it doesn't show for it. But yes, it's. I think total from beginning to end is about if you do the speed limit, about 3.5 hour drive. If you drive, what?
You're not kidding me?
No, I'm not. So if you start from the Queens line, all the way out to Montauk Point, it's about a 3.5 hour drive.
That is long.
Yes, and that's why
name?
Say again?
Is that how it got its name?
I have no clue. It could have been some sort of like male testosterone thing, and some guys got together. I'm going to name this Long Island. And I definitely love how people from Long Island, even though Queens and Brooklyn are like attached, so they're kind of like the ball sack. They're part of it. But if you're from Long Island, it's like if you see somebody from Queens or Brooklyn, you stay over there. No, you're you're not one of us. Why? Because you don't pay the exorbitant amount of taxes that we do. So till that time, you're Brooklyn or Queens. But
You're so hilarious.
I love it. I've lived. I grew up and I used to live in Queens. I lived there for 23 years.
Wow.
Yeah, 22, 23 years, and then I moved out to Long Island, and I've been there for the last 20 years. So I've been, you know,
So do you say Long Island or do you go Long Island?
Long Island over here, and we all gonna go over to Ronkonkoma and have fun over there in East Hampton, and we're gonna have some White Claws. No, I'm not one of those people. I have more of a Bostonian, a Bostonian, broken Brooklyn type of accent that comes out of me. I don't know. That's because my mom dropped me during birth. She says it was the doctor, and yeah, who knows? And then.
So who told you you were funny in your life first?
Oh, let's see here. Besides the voices in my head, it was always it's always the classic where you have friends. I actually remember I really wish I could find this one gentleman that was he was a teacher of mine in junior high school. And I still remember his name, Mr. Levine, because we don't know his first name because we only talked to them by their last names. So Mr. Levine was a school teacher in junior high school, and I remember him telling my mother, "Yeah, your son seems to think that he's some sort of comedian, and I'm actually a stand-up comedian also outside of being a teacher. So yeah, he shouldn't be doing this." And ever since then, I'm going to myself, oh, yeah? Well, I'm going to prove you wrong one day. 20 some odd years later, but I'm going to prove you wrong. I don't even know if the guy's alive, dead, who knows? I mean, he had, salt, pepper hair back then, so he could be like, a corpse by now.
Hey, Mr. Levine.
Exactly. Remember, you're number one. Times two.
Good one. So I just want you to know that of all the interviews I've done, this has been the last one I've done.
Well, I usually have that effect. In fact, me and Rich go ahead and say, yes, it's so glad you all came tonight on our last show, because we never know if we're going to get kicked off or whatever we might say. Like I said, I have this thing where I go ahead and I bring out that one portion of somebody that they said, like, when your representative, like when you talk to somebody like me and you for the first time face to face, you try to bring your representative. I burnt mine a long time ago, and I haven't gone through the trash since to find it. So the representative of me is gone. It's complete lunacy all the time. I usually talk this fast, this much, and I try to keep us going as much as possible.
So, what are your interests outside of comedy? Like, are you a Mets fan? Do you like sports? Do you have children? Do you go for long walks on the beach in Long Island?
All at the same time, no. But I do have two kids. One is let's see, 20. The other is 7. So that means I didn't learn. Yes, that's a huge age gap for you people. That's 13 years. Once again, on my abacus. And like I said, I'm somebody. There was a gentleman out there who said, "I am the saddest happy man out there in the comedy world." But like I said, I'm not a big sports fanatic. I never got into it. Mainly I watch like tons and tons of movies. Like I was part of that generation of where you took the kid and you plopped him in front of the TV and it's like, there's the babysitter. So Marty Krofft, Wild America, Mr. Rogers, Inspector Gadget, those were all my idols and people to look up to. And it was just, for me, it was always movies. So I go ahead and I have a lot of, I tell everybody, I was like, I have a lot of knowledge of useless things, like quotes from movies, years that they were, made. Sometimes I'm not usually like to the date and tell you who the director was, but like I said, I'll just like spew lines from a movie, and people go, well, "Where is that from?" And I'll tell them the name of the movie, or I'll tell them the movie or the scene, and they'll be like, "I've never seen it." And I was like, "Well, yeah, because you're not as boring as I am." So, like I said, I love spending time with my family as much as possible. I do have a full-time job, along with what I do when I'm not doing all this comedy that's so readily available. I have a full-time job in which I've been a scale technician for about 22 years, 24 years. And the hours are hellish. I'm on call 24/7. I've been known as, and I'm lucky to be as, an essential worker. And I don't understand what's so essential about me. My wife tells me, yeah, just go ahead and be essential, big guy. And so like I said, I always try to manipulate my hours of work and entertainment and try to somehow find a happy medium. But usually it's during the days, on the weekends is when I try to spend time with my kids and muster up whatever energy I can. Like I said, I'll talk a mile a minute. I'll be like animated and everything, as long as I'm in one place. As soon as my son goes, "Come on, let's play tag. Let's go run around." And I'm sitting there going like, "No, you run around. I'll watch you run around and still get tired." So I have no clue on how to go ahead and get crack on tap, because I feel that's what all like little kids are on when you go ahead and you want to run around nonstop. And it's like you want to go ahead and tell them, "Stop, please." And they keep on going like, "No, it's your turn, tag." I'm like, "No, I don't want to play tag."
Have you ever met Gladys Simon at Comic Strip Live?
Gladys Simon. No, I've heard of her. I definitely have heard of her.
I'm going to tag her in this. She's
Okay.
got to see you.
Okay. Well, listen,
so
after this,
funny.
you might want to go ahead and put prescriptions, because I'm like, poor on the eyes, bad for the ears. You wind up going ahead, taking a pencil and going, "It's not deep enough." Well, that's my grandmother's thing.
I wish I was the one that discovered you. Oh, man, somebody's going to get rich off of finding you. Who found you?
Oh, I would say Jesus. No. No one has found me. Like I said, I'm just, like I said, I am the most popular, no, I am the most well-known unknown person on Long Island.
I get it. Oh my God, you're so fantastic.
Well, I like to think so. My wife might say something different, but I like to think so.
Put her on. Let's talk to her. Let's get your children to say what you're really like.
Let's not say we did. Yeah, exactly. Because my wife would come on and basically say, "It's like, yeah, he's not funny." And then I feel bad. My son, when we were working, my son would go ahead and tell me, it's like, "Are you doing the comedy thing again?" I go, "Yeah, I have to go out." "Why can't you just stay home?" And I was like, "Because I need some sanity away from you. I love you, but I gotta go." It's I want all those privileges of like, of partial ownership of a parent, that whole thing where you see them on the weekends and that's about it. During the week is, but during the weekend, great father. So they, like I said, but they do get along with, they do go along with it. I mean, I go ahead and I do, like I said, I've done a couple of videos. One of them, my son did a voice for recent one of them where I go ahead and I stated, during these tough times, we find it hard to be home with our loved ones. And I'm just here to tell you. And then my son chimed in saying, "Daddy, you're home. I haven't seen you in a long time." And I scream at him, 6 feet back, damn it. So, and then he goes, and I don't know why he ran off. This is what happened off screen. He ran into the door. I don't know. And then my wife will say, well, that's because that's your gene pool.
You know, when you yelled at your son just now, your voice sounded just like Jerry Lewis.
Oh, I don't know why. Yeah, I used to love. You want to know what? I'm a bigger fan of older comedy.
Too.
With like when stuff was in black and white.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, I don't know because that's all we had growing up. You know how weird it is to look at Transformers in black and white. It's weird. But like I said, like Abbott Costello and Laurel and Hardy. You had Jerry Lewis with Dean Martin.
Yeah.
No, yes. So all those things because you want to know why? It was clever comedy. It was clean and clever. Very, very smart comedy, and that's the stuff that everyone remembers. Like if we tell jokes, right, or if you get someone does a curse joke or whatever it is, they're gonna sit there and go, "Oh, that guy was funny." Oh, what was his name? I don't know. I remember the bit, but I don't remember the guy's name. But like I said, you go up to anybody, a timeless joke, and when I say timeless, if I say to you, "Who's on first?"
Yep, Abbott Costello.
There you go. Okay. I say, March of the Wooden Soldiers. Laurel and Hardy. Laurel and Hardy. They did. I'm sorry. Before they turned it into March of the Wooden Soldiers, it was Babes in Toyland. So.
I'm not old.
But I'm not judging. So like I said, but I was always drawn to clever, smart comedy, and that's what would make me laugh every time.
You're so hilarious. Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
You got a brilliant career ahead of you, young man.
I hope so. One day, we'll see how long I last and how long I live. My wife has the under. So.
What kind of work does your wife do?
Oh, she is a domestic engineer.
Okay, so that means that
a housewife.
I didn't want to say it.
Oh, don't worry. It was just well known as soon as I said those two words. So she stays home. Listen, my whole thing was when my son was born, I was like, do me a favor, stay home, watch him. We don't have to worry about daycare or any of that. You watch him. The best care a kid can get is from the mother. I don't know if you have any kids.
Were you just doing Trump?
No. I don't know. I have no idea. No. I do a horrible Trump. There's other people that do a brilliant Trump. I do a horrible Trump. I'll never attempt to do it.
He does a horrible one.
Yeah. Mine is no bueno. So where was I in thought? Oh, so I told her, I was like, do me a favor, just watch and I was like, like when he's like about like 5 or 6 and he's in school, you can go look for a job. We're still waiting. So she's a domestic engineer. She stays home, watches the kids, and takes care of the dwellings. And if I'm lucky, I go ahead and I get that. I get the freshest of meals when I come home. And boy, is that DiGiorno. Class A.
Oh my God. You know what? I gotta go. I have so enjoyed this, Jeff Bosy.
Yeah, so have I.
You are something else. Oh my God.
Thank you.
Nobody got me laughing like this. This is like my 266th interview. This is the most I've laughed.
Good. I'm glad. I'm glad someone was able to do it eventually. I was like, you're sitting there going to yourself like, maybe the 267th one, maybe. So, but it was a pleasure. Thank you for having me on. I really do appreciate this time with you.
Likewise, you take care. And whoever found you and threw you on stage knew what they were doing. Stick with it.
Thank you.
See you later. Love you lots.
Take care now.
Bye.
Everybody's talking.